to The View from Under the Bus, Living Beyond Chronic Pain and Enjoying a Full Life. Well, you probably have noticed that we've been gone for a couple of weeks, and there's some reasons for that. And we'll talk about it a little bit. Both Sean and I have been going through some health issues, which has not allowed us to get in front of the camera and to make these videos. But they have been topics of conversation when we've had phone calls, because we have not forgot the great need to talk about chronic pain. So, Sean, how you doing?
Well, it's up and down at this point. You know, it's nip and tuck some days, other days pretty good.
Well, I think as the weather changes, you talked about before how weather really affects you. And there's some days that you are gangbusters, and then there's some days that the busters gang up on you. So
Yes.
I made that up just now.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, there's some information that we're going to share, and it's based on some things that are going to be happening in your life in the next course of, well, less than a week now. And so share with whatever you feel comfortable and why we're going to talk about what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah. Well, as is the case with, a lot of people that have chronic pain and even just aging, really, and with, the state of our medical community, there are procedures that we're all going to have, and, just things that need to be done. And, what are some obvious ways to address that as well? Maybe not so obvious, or things that, you just don't think about, a bit of a checklist type of thing. But we're both, in that scenario right now. So.
And it's about planning and recognizing what's going to happen. Both Sean and I are facing some surgeries, and it's about being prepared as you go in and being realistic. Like Sean said, as our body gets older, it reminds us that it needs repaired. And thank the Lord, there are doctors that are able to go in and address issues and repair. But then there's also the recovery time that requires. And I think it's important, as Sean has gone through this a little more than myself, but there's preparation. Just like you prepare to bake a cake, there's preparations as you begin to face the steps toward a surgery, and recognizing when you come home what that's going to look like.
Yeah. And, one of the things that, you've admonished me to do over the years, and I'm getting a little more comfortable with it, is to ask for help. Don't, just set that pride aside, and, don't be afraid, because, honestly, just yesterday, a friend of mine is in horrible health, and, I made him promise me that he would call me if he needed anything. I made him become a part of their life.
Absolutely. And what it is allowing somebody in to say, I need help on one side, but like you said, it's the joy of going to somebody and saying, I can help you. Awesome. Because that helps us to bring us together. I think some of the things that you and I've talked about in being prepared for being down, so to speak, not down and out, but just not at the same level. But to recognize little things like, I can't take my garbage cans down for them for it to go down, and I won't be able to bring them back up. Can you help me? The neighbor next door might say, hey, I'll take yours down and bring them back when I do mine. That's something little, but it takes a weight off of us. Yeah. And it's to go through those steps and to look around. That's something easy somebody can do. There's other things that are easy that people are willing just to run over and do or take care of. But sometimes we just have to sit and realize what those are. We do it without thinking.
Mhm.
So it's those kind of things. What are some other things that are obvious that you need to ask
Well,
for help?
yeah, of course, getting things ready, the checklist, like mine is going to be another knee surgery, which will actually be the third knee on my right side. So I'm pretty familiar with what needs to happen. I need to have a cane ready. I got to have my walker ready. I've got to have the raised toilet seat. Just simple stuff. Make sure there's plenty of toilet paper on hand. You don't want to have to send somebody to the store to buy that for you. Plenty of food, comfort food. All the comfort items. Clothes. Lay out some clothes. Um, Blankets, pillows, anything that you might need to keep you in that comfort zone. And me, I'm a big proponent of ice. And they always send you home with the ice machine, but I have additional ice that I keep in the refrigerator because I have other areas of my body that hurt. Especially when I sit for a prolonged period of time. Heating pad, extension cords, just all your cords for your phone, and just all that stuff. Getting all those things ready so that you don't feel like, even though you've asked somebody to help, they're not at your beck and call for every little thing. That, but it all adds up in the course of a day.
That is
So,
true. And I think it's almost making a checklist and maybe looking around the house. Is my charger from my phone, is it long enough so I don't have to reach down for it?
right. Yeah.
We're used to doing that when we're feeling okay, but
Yeah.
you can't crawl between the seat and the table when you got your leg up
Right.
on. So it's recognizing those little things that, so you don't have to ring that silver bell that says, can you come help me?
Right. I
Because
don't have one of
sometimes if
those
you're
yet.
by yourself, there's nothing you can do. I
Right.
think the other thing is too, is to maybe have a go-to list person that you might say, Harvey can help me with outdoor stuff.
Yeah.
John can help me do this. Or, you just have your go-to people that says, I'm willing to do this, I'm willing to do that. You might even have a grocery runner for yourself, and that'll bring you your chocolate covered coffee beans, or
Right.
whatever,
Yeah.
that they're just willing to do something, like get you a gallon of milk when you're out of it. The other thing is you have jobs that you do around the house that your wife can't do. You got to find
Yeah.
somebody to help you with that, because some things can wait and some things can't.
Yeah. 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 And that list of people, whether it would be from, your church or, club that you belong to, friends, and, maybe just a little side note as to, what kinds of things that they help with, because you don't know. My wife is younger than me, but she's getting, she may have some issues too. So we may need to call in a third person, and, just trying to foresee. It's not probable, but it's possible. And, just making that as streamlined as can possibly happen. The other things are, the ones you really don't want to think about, but you need to do is, making sure that, things in your safe or your important papers are signed, signing titles, making sure that, important papers are readily available, have some cash on hand, um, in that eventuality that you need to pay somebody for services rendered, those kinds of things.
That's a really good point. And I think that we don't like to think about um, maybe a turn on regular things, but it's being responsible. I think one thing that's hard for us is we're always willing to help somebody else, but we're not
Mhm.
always ready to receive help.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And it just goes on and on. If you have pets, your vet, in the eventuality, where would you want them to go? If you need to board those pets, if one of them gets sick, pay your bills ahead of time. Just making it as easy as possible for the people around you. And that's that's going to be helpful, because then you can sit and visit and just relax and heal up. That's what it's all about.
And what about it's also expressing how much company you want to have or
Mm,
don't want to have.
yeah.
And especially with COVID, we have to be careful. We don't want to infect or be infected while you're healing. And I think you need to communicate with people what your level of comfort is regarding that. I think that's really important.
Mm, I agree. Yeah.
Um,
Which is
one,
like
go ahead.
none right now.
That's true.
So,
I have a friend that has been very ill for several months, and he's been in and out of the hospital, but he still needs encouragement. And
mm,
instead of my husband and I have decided that we're going to send him text messages, but we're going to do it in an audio fashion. And that friend has just loved it because he doesn't have to look at anything. He just listens. It's
yeah,
those little ways that you can communicate support for the person without having to come over to the house, I think can help too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We've talked about that before, about getting outside of ourselves and considering, what another personality might need or want, or might speak to them in a way that's really, really meaningful and can help the healing process. They say that laughter and all those good endorphins are, they spread throughout the body and promote that healing process. And I'm all for it.
That's right. Now, your surgery is going to require a lot of alone time in the sense of you're used to going out and about. And
Yeah,
you've got a
yeah,
barn where you're working in, you're constantly tinkering, moving, fixing, adjusting. And now you're going to sit on a chair.
yeah.
How are you going to protect yourself from having a dip emotionally, not letting yourself feel isolated? What are some steps that you feel like are important?
Well, I'm a reader, so I've got some good reading material available. I've got some projects that I want to do in my barn as I tinker, some things that need to be repaired. So I'm going to do some research into those things and do some planning for when I am feeling better. And when you're in that recovery mode, it's like everything starts to fall into place and things take priority. And what I need to do first, and set my agenda, set some goals, of course the small ones first. And of course, doing the physical therapy, just it's a way of life. I think when you start to get a little age on you, it's just a way of life, stretch and all that.
I think, and then that brings us back to asking for help again. You might have to ask somebody, can you take me to therapy and wait?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because you
Can't
won't be
drive.
able to drive.
Right.
And, your wife works, but you need to have therapy. so that opens the door to say, you know, Judy, can you take me on Monday? Henry, can you take me on Tuesday, or whatever it works out? But you
Yeah.
find those people that are willing to make those, make that time for you.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. And yeah, that's a great point. Is, you know, don't stretch it, don't push it. You know, you got enough going on right now without pushing the boundaries. Now's the time to probably stay inside the box,
Yeah,
you know, or at least try to find the box.
well, that's true. As Sean recovers, and hopefully we'll be able to meet with him. I know he'll be on his chair, but I
Yeah.
don't know if he's going to be willing to talk. We'll have to see how things go in the
Yeah.
next couple of weeks.
You can talk to God for me. You can pray for me.
There you go.
I'll take every one of those.
Bucket loads, bucket loads.
Yes.
This is the end of part 1 of this preparation for surgery. And we hope that it's been beneficial for you. As I brought this to a close, I realized that it was just so much information. I hope it's been helpful. I look forward to sharing the rest of the time of preparation for surgery in the second part. We ask that you would share these videos with others. Also hit the subscribe button. If you have any comments or what you've done, please, please, please put it in the comments below. We thank you and appreciate you very much.